Hello everyone. So in this lesson, we are going to continue with our discussion on chapter number 6, that is nucleophilic addition to the carbonyl group. So you all are aware about the reaction of aldehyde or ketone with sodium cyanide. Okay? So the reaction of aldehyde or ketone with sodium cyanide we have studied in my previous video. So we are going to get the cyanohydrin as our product. So this is the cyanohydrin which we are going to get as a product. Now this particular reaction, that is reaction of aldehyde or ketone with sodium cyanide, is a reversible reaction. Okay, so this particular product can return to the starting material. So what is the mechanism of the return of the product to its starting material? So here we are having the cyanohydrin. Okay, this is our cyanohydrin. Now see, there is water and acid in our medium, right? In our reaction medium we are having the water as well as acid. So there are hydroxide ions also. This OH minus will be there. Now this OH minus, see, this OH minus wants to take acidic proton. So this particular hydrogen which is bonded to the oxygen is acidic proton. Now we all are aware of the fact that oxygen is electronegative element. So oxygen is electronegative element. So the electrons of this oxygen hydrogen sigma bond is going to be more towards the oxygen, and hence this particular proton is going to be acidic proton. So this hydroxide is going to take this acidic proton, and there would be negative charge on the oxygen, right? There would be negative charge on this oxygen. Now this this cyanide, it is a good living group. It is a good living group. So now what will happen is that this electrons on oxygen is going to form the pi bond, and this Cn minus would be removed, and we are going to get our starting material, that is our starting aldehyde or ketone we are going to get. Here in this example I have taken the example of a ketone, but whether it is aldehyde or ketone, if you react with sodium cyanide, then this cyanohydrin will be formed, and this particular reaction is a reversible reaction. Okay, now let us talk about the steric hindrance in the nucleophilic addition reaction. Okay, so suppose for example, once again I am taking the example of this reaction with sodium cyanide. So in this reaction with sodium cyanide, we are getting this cyanohydrin. Now here there is a ketone. Now this reaction is a reversible reaction. Okay, it is a reversible reaction. So if it is a reversible reaction, then this particular reaction would be having some equilibrium constant. Suppose for example, this is the equilibrium constant of this particular reaction. Now suppose the starting material is benzyl aldehyde. Suppose we are taking benzyl aldehyde, and then we are taking the example of a ketone. Here we are taking example of aldehyde. Suppose as starting material aldehyde is there and ketone is there. Now for the aldehyde, the equilibrium constant of the reaction will be 212. So this is the equilibrium constant of this particular aldehyde, and similarly the equilibrium constant for this ketone would be 28. So from the equilibrium constant we can say that this aldehyde are more reactive as compared to the ketones. Okay, so in nucleophilic addition reaction, aldehydes are more reactive. Aldehydes are more reactive than ketones in nucleophilic addition reaction. Now why aldehydes are more reactive in nucleophilic addition reaction? So guys, here I have taken the example of a ketone. Now you can see that this particular carbon, it is sp2 hybridized. So the bond angle will be 120 degree. Now after the reaction, this particular carbon is going to be sp3 hybridized, and the bond angle will be 109 degree. Okay, approx it will be 109 degree. So now if the bond angle was 120 degree initially in the starting material, and in the product the bond angle is 109 degree, then in the product you can see that the two alkyl group are more close to each other. The distance, that is the space between these two particular substituents, has decreased. So we can say that the two alkyl groups are very close to each other. And in ketones, okay, so in ketones, if these two alkyl groups are large, then there would be steric hindrance. And if there is a steric hindrance, then it means this particular product would be unstable. So here we are having example of ketone, and suppose if it is aldehyde, suppose we are taking the example of an aldehyde, then what will happen? So this is our aldehyde. Again, if we carry out the reaction of aldehyde with sodium cyanide, then we are going to get this cyanohydrin. So you can see that here the angle is also 109 degree, but here there is one hydrogen. In if the starting material is aldehyde, then in the product we are going to have the hydrogen, and here bond angle will be 109 degree. But here we are having the two alkyl groups. Here we are having the alkyl group and hydrogen is there. So here in case of aldehyde, because there is one alkyl group and there is one hydrogen, so the repulsion between them is less as compared to repulsion in the ketones, right? So we can say that the repulsion in the aldehydes is going to be less. The steric hindrance in the steric hindrance, okay guys, the steric hindrance in the aldehyde is less as compared to the steric hindrance in the ketone. Okay, so aldehydes are more reactive as compared to the ketones in nucleophilic addition reaction. Now guys, understand one thing. We can understand this in another way also. See, in nucleophilic addition reaction, this nucleophile is going to approach the carbonyl group. We all know that the nucleophile is going to approach the carbonyl group, and if the carbonyl group, if the carbon of the carbonyl group is crowded, then it will be difficult for the nucleophile to approach the carbon of the carbonyl group. Okay, so this is the carbon of the carbonyl group. In order for the nucleophilic addition reaction to take place, the nucleophile must approach the carbon of the carbonyl group, and if the carbon of the carbonyl group is crowded, then it will be difficult for the nucleophile to approach. So you can see that in case of the ketones, there are two substituents. In case of aldehyde, there is one substituent and there is one hydrogen. So in which case, it will be easier for the nucleophile to approach the carbonyl group. So in case of an aldehyde, it will be easy for the nucleophile to approach the carbon of the carbonyl group, and hence aldehydes would be more reactive towards the nucleophilic addition reaction. Okay, now let us understand the angle of the nucleophilic attack. So this is another important concept, the angle of the nucleophilic attack. The angle of the nucleophilic attack. So at what angle is the nucleophile going to approach the carbonyl carbon, or from which direction the nucleophile is going to approach the carbonyl carbon? So once again, let us draw the orbitals of the carbonyl group. So here again, we are having the carbonyl group. Now we all know that pi star orbital is going to be the LUMO of the carbonyl group. So let us draw the pi star orbital. So this is the pi star orbital of the carbonyl group, and this pi star orbital, that is pi star anti-bonding orbital, is more directed towards the carbon. Okay, and this is a planar structure, but this p orbital is perpendicular. Okay, this particular p orbital is perpendicular to this particular planar structure. Okay, now this is the nucleophile. Okay, this is the nucleophile. Now in order for the bond formation, there should be maximum overlap. In order for the bond formation, there should be maximum overlap between the HOMO of the nucleophile and the LUMO of the carbonyl group. So what will happen? Suppose for example, this nucleophile approaches to the anti-bonding orbital, that is LUMO, in this particular way. So what will happen is that there would be repulsion also. How repulsion would be there? See, this nucleophile is also having a negative charge. Nucleophile is also having increased electron density, right? Nucleophile is also having increased electron density. So there would be repulsion between these pi electrons and the nucleophile. So if, see, once again I am repeating, in order for the maximum overlap, this nucleophile should approach the carbonyl carbon from this particular side. But if it approaches from this particular side, then there would be repulsion between the electrons of the nucleophile and this particular pi electron cloud. So now what will happen is that there would be compromise. Okay, there would be compromise. So this particular nucleophile is going to approach from the 107 degree. Okay, this particular pathway, this nucleophile, okay, this nucleophile is going to approach from this particular side. So this is the HOMO of the nucleophile. This particular orbital is the HOMO of the nucleophile, and this pi star is the LUMO of the carbonyl group. So nucleophile is going to approach at an angle of 107 degree, right? So I am drawing the angle here. So this particular angle is the 107 degree angle. Okay. So nucleophile is going to approach at an angle of 107 degree. Okay. So this particular approach of the nucleophile is also called as, guys, I am writing the name of this approach. I will not be able to pronounce it. So it is also called as this approach route. Okay. This approach route of the nucleophile is called as so the approach route is basically called as, I have written the name of the approach route. I will not be able to pronounce it. So that's why I am writing the name of this particular approach route. Okay, guys. So this is the angle, that is 107 degree is the angle through which the nucleophile is going to approach. Okay. So this is all for in this video. In the next lesson, we are going to start with the topic of nucleophilic addition of the hydride to the carbonyl group. Okay. In the next lesson, the topic of our next lesson will be nucleophilic addition of the hydride ion to the carbonyl group. Okay. So thank you very much for listening.